Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be giving you my Capricorn February 2018 horoscope forecast. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Anyway, people, first off is, as far as February goes, the Sun will be in Aquarius from the 1st until the 18th. So the second house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Capricorn. So at this time for Capricorn, this could be a strong attention, concentration of power, and focus perhaps on the future, connected with finances, their self-worth and self-esteem, possessions. This could be a time too where there could be a strong concentration of energy put into independence and freedom and extrication from things, from such possessions, and maybe not to be dominated so much by them. This could be a time too where there could be a very, this is about a time where there could be a very strong emphasis on originality and ingenuity as far as financial acumen and generating income goes. It could be about going outside the box, so to speak, in terms of generating money and having very perhaps unique and original type of values or value system perhaps at this time. So anyway, next thing up is, as far as February goes, the Sun will be in Pisces from the 18th until the 28th. So the third house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Capricorn. So at this time for Capricorn, well, this could be about very strong focus, attention, and concentration of power into idealism, as far as idealism and compassion goes in one's communications, perhaps in matters with siblings and neighbors, if applicable. It could be about injecting a lot of energy and maybe shining in things in your neighbor, with your neighbors, as far as things that are philanthropic, and a lot of self-sacrifice, giving a lot of your time and really maybe not expecting too much in return. It could be also in matters connected with local, as far as transportation goes, taking short journeys and doing things just with a lot of that Pisces like compassion connected with it, and sensitivity, and helping people that maybe are in terms of those short journeys that are really less fortunate than you, that maybe don't. In a case, if you're someone that has a vehicle and another person doesn't, it might be a time where you're helping that other person out with rides. It could be such as a neighbor or somebody that maybe you have met during your short journey. So anyway, next thing up is the new moon will be in Aquarius on February 15th. So the second house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Capricorn. So at this time for Capricorn, this could be about perhaps a new, unorthodox, unconventional, or unusual way maybe to make money. Might come up for Capricorn at this time, or at least something that Capricorn didn't think of previously. This could also be about maybe where you start maybe incorporating maybe new values in your life. It might be such as maybe Aquarius-like things such as selflessness, a new period of valuing selflessness and humanitarianism, maybe more. Perhaps this could also be a time where maybe you even embark on a new friendship with somebody at the place where you generate money, or in this new friendship maybe might figure prominently in terms of your self-esteem and maybe your self-worth and even the values perhaps. So this could also be a time where maybe you might embark on some new financial endeavor that might be connected with something Aquarius-like. It could be such as astrology, astronomy, aerospace, computers, electronics, or even it could be a time where you might even be really might be an innovator, or if you are an innovator anyway, it could be a time where you initiate maybe an innovative project which will generate money at some point. So anyway, well, next thing up is, as far as February goes, Mercury will be in Aquarius from the 1st until the 18th. So the second house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Capricorn. So at this time for Capricorn, this could be about perhaps strongly thinking outside the box in terms of generating income. Maybe it could be a lot of more selfless thinking in regards to your resources, your possessions, and maybe even perhaps doing a lot more thinking about maybe innovative ways to generate money, and also thinking in more outside the box terms of things that can improve your self-esteem and self-worth and things that you value. This could also be a time to remember that Mercury is also about short journeys, and you're talking about the second house of money. It could be a time where maybe you might unexpectedly be taking some short journeys or running errands for somebody where it might be impacting your wallet. It might be actually playing a role in terms of increasing your revenue. That also, this could be a period where you might be just doing a lot more. This could be a lot. Mercury in Aquarius could be a lot about extemporaneous and spontaneous communications, and it could be really some ideas that might kind of fly off, your head, so to speak, or really they come off almost unexpectedly, as far as things that are unanticipated, that maybe they might be said to people at the place where you generate income, or those people might be talking like that to you, and they might kind of catch you off guard with some of their unpredictable statements. So anyway, next thing up is, as far as February goes, Mercury will be in Pisces from the 18th until the 28th. So the third house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Capricorn. So at this time for Capricorn, there could be a lot more idealistic thinking in matters connected with siblings and even neighbors, if applicable. It could be about really thinking about helping those maybe that are less fortunate, such as the impoverished, the homeless, the oppressed. They could be people like some of your neighbors, perhaps, if they're in that situation or predicament, or somebody that you might encounter in your short journeys in your local neighborhood. Also, too, you might find yourself Mercury, and you're talking about Mercury and the third house. This could be a time where you might be a lot more talkative and loquacious, but talking more about things that are Pisces-like, such as the metaphysical, which can include astrology, spirituality, perhaps. Could be chemistry, oceanography, photography, just Pisces-like subjects in general. And really, too, in these conversations, also that you may be having maybe more with siblings and neighbors, since we're talking about the third house. So anyway, next thing up is, as far as February goes, Venus will be in Aquarius from the 1st until the 10th. So the second house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Capricorn. So at this time for Capricorn, this could be about perhaps it might be about purchasing some electronic and computer items, high-tech items that might be at the place where you generate your income, where you're making money. This could also be about maybe enjoyment of more selflessness, and as far as your money, your resources, and your possessions go at this time. And if you're and also about maybe how maybe you might be buying things maybe unexpectedly or somewhat spontaneously. They may be done to improve maybe your self-esteem, your self-worth. Maybe these are things that are very new, and it's something incorporated with some kind of maybe new technology that you may get that might be able to help improve your self-esteem, self-worth. It could be some high-tech workout equipment even, for example. So anyway, if Capricorn is unattached, if you're a Capricorn that's unattached, I should say, this could be somebody you might meet, somebody that could be a prospective or significant other that may be a sun, moon, or ascendant in Aquarius, or simply somebody that embodies those characteristics. It could be somebody that maybe you meet at your the place where you make money at. So anyway, next thing up is Venus will be in Pisces as far as February goes, from the 10th until the 28th. So the third house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Capricorn, this could be a time where you might experience a little bit of deceptive charm, so to speak, maybe from neighbors or siblings if applicable, and even in your daily communications. This could be a time where maybe people put on this phony charm just to maybe be a little bit manipulative, just to see what they can get from you. And this could be a time too where you might be spending more money unrealistically on siblings, on neighbors perhaps, or maybe people that you encounter in your short journeys, or even people that you might have known from your early education. These people too may be trying to be nice just to try to get something from you and get some get money or some kind or something that you may have. So those are some things to look at as far as this goes. On the positive side though, this could be about the enjoyment perhaps of Pisces. Like things that could be maybe doing things by the water with siblings and neighbors. It could be the metaphysical, which can include astrology. It could be something connected with spirituality, things connected with fantasy, such as playing some kind of video games or playing a game like Dungeons and Dragons or something like that. So anyway, next thing up is Mars will be in Sagittarius this month, so the 12th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Capricorn at this time. So for Capricorn, this could be about perhaps some private philosophical differences at this time. This could be about where, I mean, you're talking about the 12th house in Mars, where really you might have this aggressive energy and just the energy, the vitality and stamina might be a little bit diminished at this time than usual. And you might be a little bit more lethargic and not really feel like doing as much activities than usual. But at the same time, this could be about expending energy on some vigorous sports activity in private. It could be just doing something sports related, such as hitting a punching bag in private. It could be working out vigorously. And if it's I mean, Mars and Sagittarius generally, I mean, it could be about working off some energy outdoors. So if you're doing it outdoors, it could be in a place where it's very secluded and you're just maybe by yourself jogging or something, or doing something sports related, maybe by yourself or with one other person perhaps. So anyway, and also too, this could be really about putting forth that energy into and perhaps even courage into weeding out perhaps hidden adversaries, and doing so with a lot of that Sagittarius like enthusiasm and exuberance and a lot of positive energy in attempting to do this. So anyway, next thing up is Jupiter will be in Scorpio still, so the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Capricorn. So at this time for Capricorn, as I've talked about before, Jupiter can be paradoxical. It's very benign and benevolent, but it could also be about expanding things, and it could expand surreptitious and sometimes even nefarious activity with one's friends. It could be some sneaky behavior, but at the same time, this could also be about perhaps generating some luck and fortune and making a major change or transformation in your goals and your aspirations, and also expressing a lot of maybe exuberant energy with friends and acquaintances. And also this could be a time too where you're looking at Jupiter, Scorpio. This could be about perhaps maybe some luck and fortune connected with a Scorpio-like things, such as the occult, supernatural. I mean, astrology can be included, maybe magic, alchemy, doing something really connected with transformation, such as recycling, and doing this as far as maybe what a goal or aspiration may be, and also doing these with friends and even acquaintances. So anyway, and also you might be expressing that jocular side with friends, but it could be because it's in Scorpio. Maybe it's a very kind of caustic and kind of subtle, sarcastic type of humor that you might be expressing with them. So, and it could be a really strong, really joking side with those people. So anyway, Next thing up is Saturn will be in Capricorn still, so the first house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Capricorn. So at this time for Capricorn, well, Capricorn might feel at this time, I mean, for the first thing up is, especially if this is hitting the Ascendant, it's in the first house, a literal first house of someone's chart. There could be a little greater propensity to lose weight at this time, and for Capricorn, and also this could be a very strong period of industry and working laboriously. Capricorn often is a hard worker anyway, but there might be more responsibilities that Capricorn may have to take care of at this time. And also, in some cases, the Capricorn might succumb to some kind of debilitation. It could be something Capricorn-like, such as something perhaps with the bones, the knees, or something else that might be Capricorn related. So anyway, and also this could be a time too where and Capricorn might experience more limitations than usual and restrictions, and it might leave Capricorn feeling really somewhat despondent and melancholy, even more so than usual. So anyway, thing about this too, what I want to get at, the next thing I want to talk about is Uranus will be in Aries still, so the fourth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Capricorn. So at this time for Capricorn, this could be perhaps the living situation might be a little bit erratic and sporadic. It might have some instability. It might be going one place and going to another to live for some people. But this could also be a time too. Keep in mind that Uranus can be connected with electricity. So Capricorn, be very prudent at this time as far as electrical wiring in the home, and taking precautions when dealing with wiring and wearing your gloves, whatever you need to do, because there could be a little greater tendency perhaps to get an electrocution in doing some wiring at home. I mean, in some cases it could be lightning actually hitting the home. So this is a time just to be exceptionally careful as far as this goes, Capricorn. Also, this could be a time where maybe a family member might be, or someone you feel close to home with might be maybe expressing some innovative qualities and very pioneering ones, considering that we're talking about Aries energy as well, and where maybe you might be finding out something about your roots, maybe in traditions that might be a little bit, you might see that might be somewhat unusual and might be a little bit of a surprise to you. Uranus could really be very shocking. So anyway, next thing up is, well, Neptune will still be in Pisces, so the third house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Capricorn. So at this time for Capricorn, Capricorn needs to be very careful, more assiduous when signing documents than usual, contracts that they're reading all the fine print, because even though Capricorn is generally very prudent and cautious, and they're being an earth sign, very good, generally can be very punctilious with details. Make sure you're really seeing the fine print in these things and being very discerning about these matters. Also, this could be about the dissipation and dissolving, perhaps, of a relationship, maybe with a sibling or with neighbors, perhaps, or your communications in general. You might be seeing, well, why is this? Why? It's kind of like Neptune energy could be very mysterious and confounding. I have this going on in my 11th house. I may have stated this before, that my friendships seem to be inexplicably vanishing into thin air, and Neptune seems to be this more like this gradual dissipation. But also in some cases you might be where sometimes I've noticed when Neptune is by someone's third house, this could be about sometimes memory issues as well, and where your thinking is not all, it could be a little bit nebulous, and really this could also be about, in some cases, that might be isolated, that a sibling or a neighbor, or that you might be friendly with, might succumb to some kind of drugs or alcohol use. And also this could be about siblings and or neighbors maybe being more deceptive than usual. And might be harder to decipher, like, the motives and the character composition of these people at this time. Next thing up is, well, Pluto will still be in Capricorn, of course, so the first house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Capricorn. So at this time for Capricorn, well, Keep in mind, people, I always, if I can remember, if I'm talking about Pluto, I'll mention the dreaded D word, and it can apply here, and especially if Pluto is actually is hitting one's ascendant or one's sun at this time, especially if it's a conjunction aspect in transit. This could be, sometimes it could be a literal death. In many cases, this could be, though, about a transformation or major metamorphosis that Capricorn may be going through, and might be exerting a more powerful side at this time, and wanting more power, desiring more control at this time, just in general than usual. And now, if it's hitting the moon, let's say that this Pluto and Capricorn transit is actually making a conjunction to one's natal moon. In some cases, this could be the death of the mother, or somebody that might be a female prominent in one's life. So, this is really, it's just something to look at. Anyway, another thing about this could be about, really, in some cases it could be surgery, and especially if it's hitting the one's ascendant, because that's the physical body. But at this time, for Capricorn, they need to also guard against expressing maybe compulsive and obsessive behavior at this time, more so than usual. So anyway, those are some things to look at as far as this Pluto on Capricorn transit goes at this time. So, and it could also be about, maybe you look at the first house is also about our early childhood. It could be about figurative endings of people maybe you knew in your early childhood. It might be, and also the first house is about new beginnings. So the new beginnings might be something, Pluto-like, such as something connected with, like with the occult or supernatural or something. Or it could be where you might be trying to start new beginnings, but they might come to an end, right? Maybe shortly after you attempt to start them. So anyway, next thing up is, well, the North Node will still be in Leo, so the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Capricorn. So at this time for Capricorn, well, when you talk about the North Node in transit, it can often be about what issues we may have to confront. So this could be at times about perhaps maybe confronting somebody that may be someone you're in an intimate or sexual relationship with, that might be showing some domineering, arrogant, and overbearing qualities. It could also be about, in some cases, having to be a little bit more extravagant, maybe it could be over matters connected with someone's death. It could be maybe towards somebody you're in an intimate or sexual relationship with, and also perhaps about maybe spending a little bit more money than necessary, being a little bit extravagant if you're trying to make a major change or transformation in your life at this time. So anyway, and also about showing if this is a death of somebody at this time, this could be about showing really that strong Leo courage and fortitude at this time in doing so, and maybe handling matters connected maybe with taxes, that might be with debts, in doing so with a lot of that, and with that same Leo fortitude and courage, and being able to take action in doing so. Next thing up is the Black Moon Lilith will still be in Capricorn, so the first house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Capricorn. So at this time, well, this could be about, when you're talking about the Black Moon Lilith in Capricorn and the first house, this could be at some time where, the Black Moon Lilith could be about an unveiling. It could be about something regarding the person's outlook, that might be maybe some kind of unveiling regarding maybe an overly pessimistic or negative outlook that comes out, that Capricorn maybe didn't necessarily want to come out. This also could be in some cases about a revelation of a very formidable adversary, that might be a Capricorn Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or simply someone that embodies those characteristics. It could be somebody from one's early childhood, and it could be somebody that is showing a lot of these tyrannical and ruthless qualities and overambitious qualities that might catch Capricorn a little bit off guard. So also, could it be that Capricorn could be their own worst enemy at this time, and maybe it's something that maybe it's a revelation to them at this time? Well, that could be a possibility. I mean, and it could be due to maybe an overly pessimistic outlook or very negative type outlook on things, and maybe limiting oneself to some degree and restricting oneself from maybe doing certain things. Keep in mind that's where I was talking about before, Saturn in Capricorn in the first house, where the personality might be, I didn't mention this before, but personality might be a little bit more inhibited. It might be a little bit more held back, so that could be tied in to being one's own worst enemy and thus missing opportunities, for example. So anyway, many of you may know I have Saturn conjunct my first house in my natal chart, so I understand this in a way. So anyway, last but not least, Chiron will still be in Pisces, so the third house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Capricorn. So at this time for Capricorn, this could be about maybe some emotional suffering, perhaps connected, maybe dealing with some chaos and confusion in the life with one's siblings and with neighbors perhaps. And also, in some cases, it could be about being duped or being gullible and maybe listening to what others have said, maybe some lies that were told, and maybe being suckered into some things, because Pisces can be deceptive energy, and the third house is about our communications, and it could be more easily, I think could be more easily deceived when you're talking about Pisces or Neptune, and you're talking about the third house. So also, in some cases too, this could be about maybe dealing with somebody, a neighbor that you're close with, or a sibling if applicable, or maybe even someone from your early education that might be succumbing to some kind of drug or alcohol use, or it might be wreaking some emotional havoc on you and causing you some emotional suffering. This could also be about maybe just having more difficulties making decisions in general, and being more ambivalent, and also some suffering may be caused from perhaps maybe just your general communications might be dissipating and dissolving, and these can be some difficulties that you're dealing with at this time. So, but at the same time, remember that Chiron is the wounded healer, so you might be going through suffering in some areas connected with Chiron and Pisces and the third house, but you could help perhaps other people going through comparable issues with that Pisces self-sacrifice, empathy, and compassion. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my Capricorn February 2018 horoscope forecast. Stay tuned next time, where I will be talking about the January 31st, 2018 supermoon in Leo, and then after that I'm going to finish up my February 2018 monthly horoscope forecast. I'll continue with the Aquarius one, and then I'll finish with the Pisces February 2018 horoscope forecast. Anyway, people, two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel, but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.